Dr. Meir Lotan, physical therapist, PhD in Israel, who is providing us physical therapy strategies that we can use at home with our loved ones today. Dr. Lotan has worked with over 600 individuals with Rett syndrome and is joined by 2 of his Rett syndrome families via live webcast into their homes in Israel to help model the applications with their children. Dr. Lotan has graciously offered to provide this first-time look at a living physical therapy session with everyday furniture and household items and some of the adapted equipment that these families already have in their homes. Please remember that our children are at risk of osteopenia and fragile bone density, and most of us are not licensed physical therapists, so watch this. Think carefully before you try these techniques with your children or your child. And if you want to try any of these techniques and are hesitant, email your therapist and ask their opinion. They know your child, and many of them are still checking email. And even if they can't treat at clinic or in your home right now, you can tell them to visit our Facebook page, watch this session, and then you can have an email exchange with questions about your child, because they hopefully have had a home visit with you and they can talk this through. So we'll be monitoring your questions and comments on Facebook, and we'll try to address as many of them as possible at the end of the session. However, if we don't get to all of them today, we will share your questions with Dr. Lotan, and we'll post a QA doc from today's session onto the website and our Facebook page. We may be able to address your specific questions in future training sessions as well. Because if today's session works well, we will bring you more at-home physical therapy sessions with Dr. Lotan and some US families at the same time next Thursday. So if you're ready, Dr. Lotan?
Yeah, hi, thank you, Paige, for this introduction. First of all, I want to say that what you're seeing is not physical therapy sessions. It's actually every child that I treat have a home program. So in these days when they have to stay at home, they have specific exercise that they are trained in doing. So what you're going to see is the exercises they are regularly doing with their child according to the advice that I gave them during physiotherapy. So today we're going to see 2 families. You're now watching Amit standing in a standing frame, and I'll introduce those. I'll introduce Amit now. Okay, so. Okay, so we're going to talk about activities you can do with your child with Rett syndrome when in Corona lockdown, okay? And we're going to see, I have a 3rd girl on standby, but I don't think that we'll get there. But the 2 girls that we're going to talk about today is Amit and Leah. And if we have time, then we will see also a video sent by Anael's family. So Amit is a 9-year-old child. She lives in an apartment building. It's important because the exercise that each child gets is changing according to the way they live. If they have a yard or a playground near the house, then it might be different exercises. She has 2 younger siblings. So this also needs to be taken into consideration, because if a single child can get different exercise and the parents have more time, so I might give a more intense program. She walks with significant assistance. She is very dystonic. She has severe fear of movement, and you're going to see that every change of movement in Amit's case, she needs to be relaxed and she needs to control her muscles. She has scoliosis. Actually, she has scoliosis from birth. She has shortening of hamstrings, and she's 2 months after a bilateral Botox injection to both muscles, and she has a bilateral subluxation of the hips. So the activity goals for Amit is improving hip subluxation, or at least prevent worsening. maintain spine mobility, maintain physical fitness, improve muscle control, and improve hamstring length. So according to those goals, these are the exercises that Amit is doing. So the first thing that we're taking care of is improving hip subluxation, or at least prevent its worsening. As you can see in the picture and also on the Zoom window, Amit is standing in an abducted position. Actually, what I did here is I took a regular standing frame and I added some things, so it's actually became an abducted standing position. So this is the first position, and then in a while you're going to see Amit sitting in an abducted position chair, which is also planned for the hips subluxation, and she's also sleeping in abducted hips, and I'll show you this position later. Okay, so Adi, can you change position with Amit and put her in the chair, please? Okay, so this is the chair that I've built for Amit. Okay, now they're taking Amit from the standing position. They have, because as I said, she has dystonia and severe fear of movement. So when changing position, she has to be laid down on the mattress and get some massage and to get ready for the next position. Okay, during physiotherapy, we also do this kind of exercises, and I'm holding my hand over her head, over her body, and I'm telling her to relax the muscles and tell her muscles to relax and not work now when she's on the mattress lying down. There's no need for working. So during physiotherapy, we do a lot of muscle controlling activities and relaxation. So you're going to see how her mother is massaging her and moving her and getting her relaxed, okay? Because she just been moved from this standing position, which is a little difficult for her. So now they're going to put her in the special chair. You can see this chair when it's planned. So when she's in a sitting position, she's in an externally rotation and abducted position, and also those lines here. Those lines here are actually pressuring the hips into the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to go. I'll take out the presentation so you'll see what's is going on with the Amit here. So here you see the caregiver. In many houses in Israel, we have foreign caregivers, and you see Amit's foreign caregiver and her mother. They're putting her in this special seat, okay? And she's sitting watching television while in this position. Amity, את יושבת יפה, מקסימה, כל הכבוד לך, איזה זקופה, כל הכבוד. And she's sitting in this position. Most of the exercises are performed for long durations. And so the therapeutic effect will have an effect. So this is another exercise that she does for a long time. Adi, can you change position again? To lying on the roll. Lying on the red roll. Okay, so I'm going to go until they move Amit again, because usually it's not such quick. Uh, so as I've said, because of the another area that we need to take care of is okay, you're not going to see this, but as I've said before, part of taking care of hip subluxation is and preventing it from worsening is sleeping with an abducted hip. What you see here is a meat, and this part covered with a big sock is actually a part of a flotation device. So it's kind of foam, or plastic or something in between, flotation devices like the noodles that you use in the swimming pool. And this is folded into her pants. So when she is sleeping in this abducted position. So again, protecting her from the subluxation. Then we go to maintain spine mobility. So you see that there is active and passive exercises here. The idea is that every child, on every goal that I have, each child gets passive and an active program. So for Amit, for instance, the passive exercise is lying in prone position on a roll, and you're going to see it maintains her extension of the back, and then you're going to see her sitting on the sofa, which is the active position. The active position activates the muscles that have been on the other side, contralateral to the muscles that have been stretched, or the position that have been achieved during the passive exercise. So we're going to go back to Amit, and you can see, can you take the roll a bit forward under the arms? Yeah. Okay, so Amit is lying here. You see that her legs are crossed because of the previous goal that we talked about the hip subluxation. So she needs to be in an abducted, externally rotated position. So the hips are crossed. The roll is under the arms. So this keeps her spine in an extended position. And can you move her now to the sitting on the sofa with the pillows behind her? Thank you. So this was the passive element of the same goal, and now we're going to see Amit sitting in knee sitting position with the pillows behind her, which is the active part of the same goal. So she's abducted, hip dislocation, I remind you, and she's leaning backwards on the pillow, so she's actively operating the muscles of the back. I think maybe this transfer was a bit quick for her, because as I've told you before, she's having a hard time changing position. So between every position change, she needs to be a bit relaxed. And עמיתי, את עושה מאוד יפה, כל הכבוד. את יושבת יפה מאוד. כל הכבוד, חמודה. And so this is the active position. And then we talked about physical fitness. So can you change position to the standing against the wall part? Adi, can you change position to the standing? Thank you. Okay, so again, as I said, the next, the next goal for her is maintain physical activity or physical fitness with her level of activity, then her physical fitness exercise is standing with back against the wall. This maintains her ability. This is maintains her ability to activate her muscles, both the legs and trunk. And for her, it's she can maintain it for like maybe 5, 10, 15, or up to 20 minutes. So she's leaning against the wall. Okay. כל הכבוד אמיתי, תעמדי ישר, 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 כן, תשעני חזק על הקיר, כל הכבוד. Her left hand is in the trousers because Amit is trying to get her stability by very strongly activating the left muscles of the body. So if we leave the left arm outside, then she will her whole body goes to the left with this massive muscle activity. So by putting the left hand into the trousers, we actually prevent her from strongly activating her whole body towards the left side. And another activity goal for Amit is enhanced relaxation in all activities and between activities. And this is what they do. The caregiver and her mother are doing regularly when they are the caregiver and the mother are doing regularly when they change position. Usually it takes a lot of time and not as quick as you have seen it. So there's less rest, less relaxation. I think that this is all we've all the activities that we've so I'll say goodbye to the family, okay? באמיתי, תודה חמודה, את היית דוגמנית מקסימה, ותודה לאמא ולליליבט. נכון, רגע, יש עוד אחד, את צודקת, נכון, סליחה, שכחתי. Okay, and another thing another goal with Amit is, as I've mentioned in the beginning, she has just 2 months ago, she got Botox injection to her hamstring. So another exercise that she does is lying down with one leg another exercise that she's doing. This is not Amit, this is another girl, but with straight knees, one leg is on the mattress and another one is on the chair, and she can lie like this on her back, watching videos and extending and stretching the hamstring muscles. So this is the exercise program for Amit. Okay, and now so this is Rina in a minute. Okay, this is the way Amit is with her straight legs. You have to make sure that the fingers are pointing to the ceiling, so it will actually stretch the right muscles. And this is another exercise that Amit is doing on a regular basis. So I'm going to, so this is old girl, young woman. She can walk assisted with moderate support. She has a severe kyphosis and scoliosis. She has an intense activity program she does at home with her foreign caregiver, and she's a single child, and they live in an apartment, so there's no other children that take the time of the caregiver. So Leah's goals is to improve and prevent worsening of kyphosis, to improve or prevent worsening of scoliosis, and maintain standing and walking ability. This is what you're going to see is exercises that they're doing all the time with Leah. So as I said, there's passive and active exercises all the time, and they rotate between the exercises. So the passive exercise would usually be stretching a muscle, and the active exercise would be to activate the contra muscle. So for instance, you're going to see Leah, you see in the window, Leah is sitting with this instrument that I've built for her. Okay, and this is stretching the chest muscles because she's kyphotic. Okay, and then we're going to see a next position where she's actually activating the back muscles.
Put him?
Okay. So this muscle, usually this activity that you see now, Leah is sitting in this position, and she can watch something on the television, like a series, or so she can be in this position for about 45 minutes or something. Of course, every activity that we do, he has to be, you want to silence maybe you want to silence your computer, Reina, please? So this is an active exercise because now Leah is going to be on her stomach watching television, so she's actually activating the back muscles. And again, this exercise is done as long as she's active and maintaining this position. Okay.
He obviously really enjoys this one.
Okay. Okay. Can you move now to the chair, to the side chair? Hi, Leah, Mami, my name. So the next thing that we have to address in Leah's program the next issue that her program deals with is preventing of worsening of the scoliosis. And she has right scoliosis, meaning the tip of her scoliosis is to the right. So we have to make the muscles on the right side work and the muscles on the left side elongated and stretched. So what you're going to see now is Leah sitting in a special seat that I've built for her. It's elongating the left side, and the other exercise that she's doing is sitting in a special seat, which is actually making her right side muscles work. A mistake in the presentation. Okay, so this is a chair I've built for her. Okay, you see that she's sitting in a side sitting position. since we started using this chair, at the beginning she was the height of the left wall was 4 centimeters lower, and her left buttocks, the one that is close to the wall, was on a pillow. After using this chair for a while, you see that I have managed to raise the wall in 4 centimeters and to replace the pillow with a very thin foam matter that she's sitting on. So, and since she have started using this chair, her back has become much more flexible, and also it's easier for her to sit on the chair that you're going to see now. Can you, Rina, can you move her to the side sitting chair? Thank you. So what you're going to see now is the side-sitting chair. Because she has a right scoliosis, she's sitting with the right side on the chair and the left knee is on the floor. So this makes her work with the muscles on the right side much harder. So it actually works again against the progression of scoliosis. When we started the other chair that you just saw, when she was sitting in this position during physiotherapy sessions, she had to give her a lot of help just to sit up straight. And now she can sit up straight, and actually when I ask of her to sit up straight, she's actually taking her back to the right and backwards, and she can sit by herself, as you can see now, which is something she wasn't able to do. I think it was 2 months ago or something. ליה, את יושבת יפה מאוד, כל הכבוד מאמית, תיישרי את הגב. תיישרי את הגב חמודה, תתיישרי גבוה, 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 גבוה. I think their computer is a bit stuck. So we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so another goal for Leah is walking, and as you can see, they are walking as much as possible. She is not being moved around the house in any other way but walking with a lot of assistance by her caregiver and mother. And then another position for her, they have a standing frame that they got from the Ministry of Health, and she's standing as much as possible. During physiotherapy sessions, she's standing she's standing with assistance when I'm holding her from the back, and she's trying to maintain her standing position. So you'll see her in the Rina, you disappeared on me. I don't see you. Only can you hear me? Ah, there you are.
Yeah, and Dr. Lotan, I think we're fine. We can see her video camera. If you wouldn't mind making some comments on the good physical posture of the caregiver who is moving her and helping Leah so that her own back stays protected, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, okay, so when you're moving, okay, now you see that they're putting Leah in a standing frame. And usually a standing frame is straightforward. It's a standing frame with a table. But because Leah and other girls with Rett syndrome have scoliosis, then when she's standing in the standing frame, they're using this foam to maintain her standing posture relatively erect. Okay, and Paige was mentioning the fact that girls with Rett syndrome are growing up. They need support, especially in the case of Leah, for instance, where the caregiver and the mother are not very heavy-set persons. So they have to keep their the way they work with the body. They have to keep their position so they don't hurt their backs. As you can see, the caregiver is going around with a back protection belt, and when you do all those position changing, then you have to maintain your knees bent and your back straight up. And also it would be good if you can do some workup on your abdomen muscles. So if they are strong and you you activate them when you do any kind of heavy lifting or daily lifting in the case of Leah, which is not heavy, then you can maintain your back and prevent all kinds of back injuries. I think that we have seen Leah's activities, and we also seem to have some difficulties connecting with Leah because she's so Paige, I think we'll say goodbye to them. I think the picture is done. Huh?
Leah, goodbye.
Paige?
Yeah.
Okay. רינה,
Goodbye.
תודה. ליה, ביי ממי, תודה.
Bye, Leah.
ביי דייזי.
Rena, thank you so much for
תודה.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Enjoy your
Bye.
dinner. Have a nice
You too.
evening.
So now we have some time. I can either answer a few questions or show the third family, which is also, I have videos of the third family if you would like. So what would you like to do?
If I may, can I ask, while these demonstrations are fresh in everybody's mind, let me ask 2 or 3 questions from Facebook, and then we would love to see the video from the third child. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we had a very good question as to whether the stomach exercises could be done with a child who has had scoliosis surgery, and your thoughts on that.
First, it could be the stomach exercise can be done for a child with after scoliosis surgery, but it wouldn't be to get the back extended, but it is good for the hips as well, because maybe I can show it. I mean, if you're in a seated position all day long, then the muscles of that flex the hip are becoming shorter, and also the muscles of the abdomen. So lying on your stomach is very good for extension of the hip. So, but in a child after having surgery, I would not put a roll and get extension of the back. I would put a triangle and get the child lying down on the triangle with the hip extended, but with the back straight. So I don't need gravity pulling on the back to get extension of the back. I just want the extension of the hips. So it could be done with a girl after surgery, but maintaining something under the trunk.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, we lost your audio.
Mm. Did you hear what I said, or I'm lost?
Now you're back. Now
Okay.
you're back.
So did you hear what I said, or should I repeat it?
Would you repeat that, if you would, please?
Okay. What I said is, did you hear the part about getting the hips, the flexors of the hip shortened?
Yeah, we heard that part when you were speaking, when you put your arms up like this. That's when your audio cut out.
What I said is, you can do the same exercise for a child who had a back surgery, but since we don't want extension of the back, and it wouldn't help because you have rods in the spine. So what I would do, but I do want extension of the hip, because many children with Rett syndrome are sitting all day long, and the hips are getting flexed, and then they get this shape of a chair. So I would put the child on the stomach, but instead of having nothing under the trunk, I would put a triangle under the trunk. So the child is sitting on the triangle without extension of the trunk, and just extension of the hips.
Okay, thank you. And maybe if we do another Facebook Live, we can demonstrate a child who has rods, and we can do some things. I have another question in the queue. If you could answer this one, and then we'll look at your video. Okay.
Okay.
The question is, Dr. Lotan, if a child's hips are not subluxed, which position is better for them while sleeping, abducted or adducted? And do you use hip huggers to avoid subluxation?
I know that there is a lot of there's a lot of gadgets that maintain the hip abducted, but the thing is that all of them are, it takes a long time to wear, and they actually prevent the child from moving at all. So in the thing that I showed, it's actually kind of flexible. It it is okay for a small child like Amit that we saw first, to lie down and sleep with it, because she can do some movement. She can actually, and even if she turns to the side, then because she can with this technique, then she's staying abducted. She does have the upper leg going into internal rotation like we usually do when we are on the side. So this is, it doesn't weigh anything. All you have to do is push it inside the pants. You just need the pants to be elastic in the right way. So because if it's too loose, then it goes away. If it's too tight, then it pressures you. But if you take the right stretch of the pants, and then you have something that weighs almost nothing, the child can actually do some movement with it, but she never gets into an adducted position in either hip. So this is why I'm using this technique. We tried a lot of other techniques before, but it just prevented her from moving a lot, and the mother said that changing position at night is maybe one of the little active movement that Amit is actually doing by herself, and she doesn't want to take it away from her. So this is why we came down to this approach. Now I lost you, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Meir. We have a few more questions coming into the queue, and I'd like to welcome everybody who just joined us. Meir has done a wonderful demonstration in the homes of 2 children in Israel who have different levels of abilities. He's now going to show some video from a 3rd child who could not join us live, but submitted some video for him to share. And we'll take the next few minutes to allow Dr. Lotan to feature this child. In the meantime, go ahead and ask your questions in the Facebook comment field. If we don't get to them live today, we will get answers to them posted shortly. Okay, so Meir, if you'd like, I will go ahead and
yeah. Okay, so the third girl I want to introduce is Anael. She is 9 years old. She lives in a house with a garden, and in the garden they have a trampoline and a small swimming pool. Of course, it's too cold now for the swimming pool, but her brothers still use the trampoline. So there's small room to walk around. She has 3 siblings. She has a caregiver, like many in Israel, as I've mentioned before. She's able to walk assisted with moderate help, and she's showing initial signs of asymmetry, something that might develop into a left scoliosis. So you're going to see her sitting in asymmetrical position, and she has low muscle tone and starting to develop a bit of kyphosis. She's not kyphotic, but she's sitting in a sloped position for some hours or some minutes in the day. So we need to work on that. So the goals for Anael are to enhance activity level because she doesn't like to work it a lot, to keep her back straight to avoid kyphosis and to avoid scoliosis. So for instance, she's standing in a split standing frame. These are AFO splints, which I have attached to a wooden board. Usually I don't need the more extension, but in her case, I do. And also we have she has this is a heart walker which I have adjusted to her size, and as I said, she doesn't like to do a lot of activity. So but she has the ability. She just uh, doesn't like to work hard. So she's going towards the table because there's a computer there and it's paused, and and if she wants to hear the music, then she takes a few steps and she walks towards the computer and see the music. This is her brother who just went to push the play button when she gets to the table. Another kid walk is another walker that is good for girls with Rett syndrome, because most of the others make them just lean on the support that the walker is giving. To get her to get her back straight, to avoid kyphosis, the passive exercise that she does is lying like you have seen Amit. She's lying on the side of the sofa watching television with all her brothers, and the active part is sitting in the living room. As you can see, she's being walked as well, walked around the house. And then usually when she's sitting, playing with her siblings in the living room on the floor, then she's sitting on this triangle air cushion. So she's, which encourages extension of the back. So this is how we prevent the kyphosis. To prevent the scoliosis, she has a small tendency towards leaning to the right. So when she's sitting without support, she's sitting, as you can see, in a side sitting position, which makes her work more with the left side, and the person who is feeding her, which is her dad at the moment, is feeding her from the left. So this is something that can be done with any girl. And also we need to remember those days, that not to forget the strength of the family, because when her brothers are playing in the yard, then she is very happy, and she's much more active when looking at her family playing. Okay. And also she's standing, you see, when she's okay. So now you have seen programs of 3 families from Israel, girls with Rett syndrome. We will not show you girls who are able to walk by themselves, because they walk by themselves, so they are active, and if they walk by themselves, then there's less chance of osteoporosis or osteopenia, and there's less chance of reduced physical fitness. So we have showed girls who are not independent walkers. So Paige, I think that if you have any other questions that people have been asking,
Okay.
because we're about to end this session, I think.